I first came to Briarwood and was introduced to everyone at Briarwood when I transferred there in the 8th grade. And we were new to town. We had just moved from Kansas. And so I honestly did not know a soul coming into my 8th grade year at Briarwood. And while everyone was really welcoming and it was incredible to see, how everyone was kind of interested to get to know the new girl, ooh, who is she? She's not a part of the 12-year club. We didn't grow up with her. She's different. Who is she? That in some ways was also negative because I know that everyone at Briarwood has been together for basically all of their lives. And so as someone coming in and trying to break into that circle and break into the barriers that people have and the different, I don't want to say cliques, but cliques and the different friend groups, it was really hard for me because I would try and go and be friends with one group and it would be good for about a week or two, but then things would go back to normal and it would just be them, and I wasn't called anymore, to hang out or go to the movies or anything. And so, if anything, just being not only a girl who's been in Briarwood for a lot of her, if all of her high school career, but also as a girl who has come to Briarwood as an outsider, it's really important for you to make those connections and really try to break those boundaries and those friend groups. And I know that you love your best friend, and I know that that's perfect because I have a handful of best friends who I could show y'all right now, but it's not the people that you've always been around and that you're comfortable with. It's the people that make you kind of uncomfortable a little bit, and you step outside of your boundaries, and you are kind of worried about what others will think if you befriend them. But in those moments is when you make the biggest difference in that person's life. Because it's like, oh my gosh, she took the time out to actually come and say hey. Because I remember, this is silly, but I remember in 8th grade, during football season, I met a girl who was deemed as one of the popular girls. And we were hanging out at the football game, and I thought that I was on top of cloud 9. And at the end of the game, she said, okay, well, on Monday, come sit with us at lunch. And oh my goodness, you would have thought that I had won the lottery. So I was like, oh my gosh, I ran home. I was like, Mom, I finally made it. She wants me to come sit with her. I can't believe it. I'm finally going to be with the in crowd. And then Monday came along, and she wasn't trying to be hurtful, but she had just totally forgotten all the business of the weekend that she had invited me to eat lunch with her. And so I was waiting on her to come over and be like, hey, come on, come sit with us. And she never did. And looking back now, it's embarrassing to see how crushed I was at that. But it's just the little things like that, like a random act of kindness here and there, or including someone that you wouldn't normally, or even just as easy as saying hey in the hallway, or sending someone a sweet text. It really means the world to girls and guys for that matter. If there's that really sweet but a little bit nerdy guy in your class, say hey. I guarantee it's going to mean so much more than you could ever imagine to that person. One thing that's been really encouraging to me in the whole trying to break out of my own shell and trying to break those walls down and break barriers and make friends with the people that I wouldn't normally gravitate to, and just reaching outside my comfort zone is, I think it was Miss Janey's class in 8th grade, and she made us memorize The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. And what the poem is all about is Robert Frost presents this situation where he's walking in the woods and he comes to a fork in the road, and he can go one way, which is really overgrown and there are thorns and bushes and you can't really see the clear path, and then there's another road or pathway where it's completely open, it's beautiful, there's a clear path you can see for miles up the path. And he like the main gist of the poem is, which road are you gonna take? I feel like this poem is really applicable to y'all today because it's, you know, are you gonna take the easy path, the one that's beautiful and has all the daisies and sunflowers and you can see it for miles and you may not learn as much, or are you gonna take the road that's got thorns and it's gonna be hard and you'll probably end up with some cuts and bruises, but you're gonna learn a whole lot. And I just always encourage y'all to, even though it might not be easy, take the road that's been less traveled, like it says in the poem, because you will always learn so much incredibly more when you go that way.